Hello everyone and welcome back to another car profile where we're looking at the Suzuki Swift Gr.4 car. Now the engine sounded pretty pathetic if I do say so myself, but even so it's got a 1.5 litre turbocharged engine and you should turbocharge yourself over to that subscription button if you're not subscribed already. Now let's look at the bot then for this car. It changes across all three circuits. We start off with a low brake horsepower all the way to the high one. And the weight under 1,000 kilograms. This thing is light. It is light as a feather, this car. Now it's front-engined front-wheel drive, for those that don't know that. And it's based on a Katana. Well, it's the Katana edition is what we're looking at. It's got the Katana logo on the side. You can see that right there. And the Katana is the motorcycle design. So they're taking that beauty and assigning it to the car. Multiple colours available in this car. Now, with front-wheel drive cars, we know they suffer from understeer, and that's what we are going to talk about a little bit more in this. It also suffers from a very unique problem that I've never really experienced properly until I did this test. So we're going to go into this and have a look at the details within this test. First up, as always, it's Laguna Seca with the low-speed bot test. Now, some of you will be questioning this video because of the recent update announcement that has been stated by Gran Turismo. I'll talk about that at the end of this video. First up though, we are racing that NSX Group 4 car. That is currently the fastest Group 4 car here at Laguna Seca as we go through that right-hander. You'll notice I'm short shifting here is to avoid some of that understeer, and we're already up actually on the NSX. This car, very good at handling, I've found. It really is. And this is lap number 2. Okay, now we do 1 out lap and then 10 fast laps. This is literally the first fast lap of the day. Keep that in mind when we go to the other test because I will explain it as we continue on. We're up to the kink here. This car handled this very nicely indeed. Going into here, 100 mile an hour and then dropped a little bit and then carried on through. Could do that every single lap. No real issues there whatsoever. Corkscrew, I did suffer a bit of an issue really here. Not so much on this lap, but it was all about trying to maintain the speed through there without suffering from understeer or the front lifting up a bit too much and then the wheels just spinning. 1.5 temps down on that NSX then as we go through this final sector, really trying to rag this car towards the end then as we approach the final corner. Like all front-wheel drive cars, when you're in a slow section here or a slow corner, you're going to suffer wheel spin very quickly, so you do want to short shift there to go up the gears. We're going to head towards the line then, and we're going to see where we are versus that NSX then, and just under a tenth off it in fact, so not too shabby at all here versus that Honda NSX in this Suzuki Swift. We are going to have a look at the leaderboard where there's going to be 3 cars. So we've got the Honda, we've got the Suzuki Swift, and of course the BMW M4. And you can see the bot difference right there. You know, you can see it's got a much lower brake horsepower, but also a much lower weight as well. It's not the greatest in the world though, half a second down on the NSX, but that is going to be it for this one. What we will do now is jump to the next track, which is the Suzuka layout then, or Suzuka, not Suzuka layout. It's tired. It's after the recent esports event, and I'm making sure I get this video out there for you. So turn 1, I did suffer a little bit of understeer through turn 1. It's nothing hugely insane, but it definitely did exist there as we start going into the S's. Now for this one, a tiny bit of understeer, but because I'm in the low end of 4th gear, it didn't really suffer as much as in other corners as we go through this right-hander. Let's see where we are versus this NSX. So are we up on the car? No, we're 1.5 temps down on that Honda NSX as we go through that left-hander. I did have to lift a tiny bit there through the left because of that front-wheel drive, the understeer that happens. We experience all the time in these cars. Tidgney 1, no real issues here. If you did absolutely mount it, that's what would happen to the car. It would just swing sideways as we go through Tidgney 2. No real issues there at all as we head towards the hairpin where we are going to suffer here. You can see there, we've not dropped any time really to that NSX as we approach the hairpin. Once again, notice lap number 2. It is significant and it's something I am going to talk about in a little bit when we get to Sardinia layout A as we continue on out the hairpin. I did short shift quite a lot there and started in 3rd gear on the exits of the hairpin to really reduce that understeer where I could. Going to head up towards Spoon then here, the fast left-hander, double left-hander should I say, as we venture out there. Again, a little short shift there, coming back down to 3rd gear, trying to get the car rotated up to 4th gear to avoid that understeer. Slight lift there as well as we continue on. Now, front-wheel drive cars are known for their speed, okay? They're known to pull and pull and pull. This one, not so much compared to the others, but let's see what we are versus the NSX all the same. We're actually up there, 24 thousandths up on the NSX. We have gained 0.2 of a second Through 130R we go. No real issues at 130R at all. It was actually quite enjoyable as we head towards the Casio triangle then, as we go into the first part then, and the second part, short shift to third gear to avoid any power understeer as we head towards the line then. What is this versus the NSX? Which is quicker? That is the question. Oh, just the NSX, just. So it's been very close on both these circuits. The bot looking very good, actually, in terms of lap times there as we head towards that leaderboard then. Where does this... Oh, it's just behind the Honda. And I will explain that now as we head towards a high-speed circuit. So you will have noticed that it's been lap 2 at Laguna Seca, lap 2 at Suzuka. Can you guess what lap was the fastest lap at Sardinia Layout A in reverse, which is the high-speed track we're jumping to now? Yes, that's right. It's lap number 2. And this is where there's problems. Let's go through turn 1 first of all as we approach this one. This is actually a slow sector 1, okay. Really low down there. We did that much faster a little bit later on in the sessions as we raced. Once again, the NSX, as it was much quicker than the BMW when we did test that. So this car suffers with tyre temperatures, and quite severely actually. So as you go through the session, the rear tyres get colder and colder and colder, and it becomes significant. I'm pretty sure it's the rear tyres that are the issue here. The front tyres do wear down, of course, but with the rear tyres being so cold, it loses performance. It really does. And you can see that with 2.5 temps down on the NSX. I can tell you now, I do go quicker than that sector 1 that I've shown right here. Through the right-hander we go, third gear then to avoid that power understeer. But yeah, it's significant. Every single session I did, the car just got slower and slower and slower to a point where the tyres became so cold and then the laps would become standard. So later on in the session, it was consistent, but I could never improve really, just because the tyres were at a temperature. Which is significant because in race pace, and this is what we're testing here on Tyres 1 Fuel and Tyre Wear, if it drops so much like that, there is a problem there fundamentally with the drivetrain and the car, with those tyres cooling down. I have no idea how you would solve it in Gran Turismo, I really don't, but it definitely existed, okay? It's definitely a fundamental problem in this class that tyre temperatures are a significant issue. Now in time trial, you don't suffer with tyre temps, so I can understand that perspective, but the second you go into a race like this, you do suffer with tyre temperatures, especially if you're not braking and turning for even a smidgen of an amount of time. Now we're going to head towards the line here. We're going to see what it is versus our NSX then in terms of the final lap time as we head there now. What we're looking at here, who's going to win? Oh, it's the Honda NSX. Actually, we're quite far down on the Honda NSX. It's mainly because our Sector 1 was completely atrocious. However, how much of an atrocious car is it here at Sardinia? Not atrocious at all. It's very close to that Honda NSX actually in terms of lap time. But as I say, it drops massively. Now, Sardinia layout in reverse, because there's less corners, it's less impacted here. So I managed to get close to my fastest laps again later on in the session when the fuel came down. But tyre temperatures, definitely an issue. And I just want to put that out there. If you are using this car, you are going to see performance degradation, is that the word, in terms of that car as tyre temps come down. So this is the fuel test. Those interested, on the left hand side is automatic and fuel map 1. So if you're an automatic driver, focus on them. On the right side, the best way to save fuel, and we're measuring performance. Now this car is a short shifter. You change just after the gear number, just before the gear indicator essentially, seems to be the best place to change gear. But we're doing half shift here just so you've got an easy marker. And look at that, top right hand side, literally the first to finish. So you already know, if you're an automatic driver, you do not use the Suzuki Swift, okay? Don't bother, no point. As you can see on the top left, as it finally crosses the line, nearly 2 temps down there on the half shift. Now we look and focus on the bottom part of the screen now, where even the emergency fuel saving finishes before the automatic fuel map 3. That is significant because obviously it uses less fuel in that bottom right. It's quicker in that bottom right. Overall, it's just better to be half shifting in this car. Obviously, I said maximum performance is 3/4, I would say, on that bar. But even so, you're seeing the difference there on that screen. So in terms of performance and fuel then, where are we sitting here? Well, Suzuki Swift is at the top. It's only just at the top there on maximum RPM. However, as we know, it's a short shifting car in general. So if it's top on here, I'm pretty sure it's going to be guaranteed to be top on the other ones. Let's have a look at this one. Yes, there we go. Look at half a second. Wow, this has got some straight line speed. That explains Suzuka in a nutshell, doesn't it? When we did the medium speed bot test. Half a second. That is insane there. And here we go with fuel map 3. So Arguably, the engine it's not impacted by the limitation of Fuel Map 3 there, because it increases that gap versus Fuel Map 1 on automatic. And look at that, half a second again. Absolutely biblical there in terms of performance. It is a fuel saver, this car. You can save fuel for days. It doesn't save as much as a Honda, but the performance-wise, it's astronomical there. What we're going to do next is a tyre test, of course. We always do a tyre test with these car profiles. So let's jump to that now then, here at Sardinia Layout C in reverse. Now, as I said earlier on, the front-wheel drive cars really do struggle in terms of tyre wear. Or they did in GT Sport, should I say. We advance here to lap number 5, where we still have tyres. So we're actually not doing too bad here, and still quite a big amount of tyres. So an improvement, and a substantial one at that. Now, is it to do with the weight? Possibly. Weight does have an impact on tyre wear, not as much as it used to in GT Sport, but as we know, it weighs 300 kilograms, nearly 400 kilograms in fact, less than the other Group 4 cars we've tested so far. We still have tyre wear here as we head towards the end of the lap. You can see I'm suffering from a bit of understeer now as we approach the final corner here. Just missing the apex slightly there as we continue on through. Lap times haven't dropped as much here, which is why I know it's tyre temperatures that have an issue, okay? Because this lap is short, we can go around constantly, and tyre wear's not that impactful. Yes, we are losing a bit of time there, but that's standard. But tyre temperature not down as much so far because it's such a short lap. We head towards turn on lap number 6 now, so we are going the distance here as we continue on through there, and we've just actually run out of tyre right now on that front left tyre, but the rest of the tyre is looking pretty spot on, to be honest with you. Just that front left really wearing down, which is the tyre and side that does get impacted the most. Let's have a look then overall here at the final leaderboards, and Suzuki Swift then P2 on tyres, so it's better than the BMW M4, which is insane to say, to be honest with you, but you're seeing it right there. It really is. It's a lap longer than the BMW M4 in terms of distance. Overall then, it's a P2 in the end, slap bang in the middle between the two cars. Not the greatest car in the world, but it is better than that BMW M4 Group 4 car. Now, I'm going to say that is for now, because if you've seen the recent patch for Gran Turismo 7, or the recent update that's been announced for Gran Turismo 7, it's coming later this month, the physics have been completely changed, which does mean that every single car profile needs to be redone. Every single one, which is disappointing from my side. I'm hoping these physics are better for the game and are not making it worse. Fingers crossed that's the case, and then I'm fine with that. What does it mean for car profiles? Well, I'm going to actually stop car profiles until the physics are settled down and the balance of performance is changed to relate to the new physics, because the balance of performance is going to completely change once again, which again means retesting again, and there's no point me doing that consistently. So apologies to anybody who expects more car profiles going forward. They will return at some point, but with the physics change and a bop change coming, it just seems not appropriate for me to keep doing it. It's a bit of a waste of time to do it and then do it again. Remember, I have tested the Jaguar F-Type 4 times. You've not seen the retest of the Mazda RX Vision Gran Turismo car that I've done. There's lots of retests that I've done in the background you have not seen. But with this change, I am going to just put a pause on car profiles for now and then continue on. Initially, I was going to be asking what you wanted from the car profiles going forward, potentially going to 3 cars in a car profile, but there's no need to ask that with that big announcement of a physics change. So apologies for that. That's going to be it for this video all the same. I do hope you have enjoyed it. Do keep an eye out for car profiles returning. It will return once those physics and bop have changed and calmed down a little bit. If you have enjoyed this video, as always, do give it a like and do subscribe to the channel. In the background, there are 2 videos there, including the Beat the Meta that features this car, so please do check it out. Thank you for your support with these, as always, and I hope to see you in another video. I'll live stream again very soon.